Welcome, Leo, to your monthly horoscope for October for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Briefly, I'd like to tell you about my year 2021 personal horoscope special offer. You can buy your forecast, which begins obviously the 1st of January, but I'll give you the rest of this year free, plus a character analysis, and get 30% off. This is based on your unique data of time, date and place of birth. No two charts are the same. It will give you searing insights in what you can expect in your personal situation. But as far as your zodiac sign is concerned, or your ascendant Leo, this month begins quite dramatically because there is a full moon in the sign of Aries. And of course you have Mars, the ruler of Aries, already in this location in retrograde. It's been shaking things up, particularly since the end of July, in its square with Saturn principally, and then more recently Pluto and Jupiter. Now that energy is going to be ongoing this month. So October does provide some challenges, frankly, but it also provides some wonderful opportunities. And the Sun is in the part of your horoscope to do with your thinking, and your thinking could be quite agile. It's just that your thinking needs to take into account balancing that need for more independence, to be more adventurous, to open up your world, not just to your own personal circumstances, but also dealing with the fallout and implications of COVID, which has pretty well affected every citizen on Earth. So that clustering of energy in Saturn is very much about practicalities. And the energy of the full moon and Mars is about escapism. It's about being a freer spirit. So that creates a tension. And also Mars, for the first 3 weeks of this month, is in a specific right angle to Pluto. Now, these two are the co-rulers of the sign of Scorpio, which, as you know, is very intense, very much to do with deep emotion and change. So I think it's possible that if there is a situation which is really tying you down, it could create a lot of inner tension for you, but also it could see you wanting to express your frustration in a more voluble and more verbal way. Now, it is the case that on the 3rd of this month, Venus moves out of your sign and into the sign of Virgo. Now, Venus is not at its absolute best in this location, but what I would say to you, it can be very good for you personally. Your finances can pick up from the 3rd through to the 27th in a really uplifting and positive way. So that's something to embrace. If you are on a strict diet as you come into this month, this could prove a little bit challenging because your attraction to calorific goodies is definitely going to soar. But also, as we come into this month, Mercury, the planet of communication, is nestled in the rather sheltered 4th house, very much about emotions. If there is something that you're really thinking over very carefully, and it could be to do with where you live or about your family, because Mercury's in shadow as we start this month, and then goes into retrograde from the middle of the month on the 14th, I feel that there can be some fluidity to those thoughts, those plans. Things can be stop, start, may change, and you need to try to take this in your stride. In fact, on the 28th of this month, Mercury inverses into the sign of Libra. This has been a year when we've had 3 water Mercury retrogrades, which is really quite incredible. Next year, or 2021, is going to see 3 air retrogrades. So that's going to be much clearer, especially for a fire sign like you. But that wateriness has kind of bogged us down a little bit, and in your case may have created some steam, fire, water, steam. So I do feel that you could find yourself feeling a little bit tortured in some ways, or perhaps about an emotional situation. But it is true to say that from the 8th through to the 21st of this month, the Sun is clashing with that stellium of energy in the sign of Capricorn. And I think what that can create is tension. And if you can do some exercise this month, gentle exercise, swimming walking, cycling, stretching, some yoga, that would be a very virtuous thing to do, because I think it's possible that you could feel like your adrenal system is a little bit more stimulated by the energy that's caused by that right angle, and that's going to be emphasized more by the new moon, which occurs on the 16th. Now, new moons are new opportunities to manifest what we want to achieve in the following month. And this new moon would be about your thinking, about your ideas, about learning things, publishing things, sharing information. But it too is challenged by that cluster of energy in Capricorn. So dealing with the practicalities around your thinking and your need to be a freer spirit is really at the core of what this month is about. And it could be linked to the home or the way the family setup is. Perhaps you've been doing too much. Perhaps you've been too self-sacrificing on the domestic front. And this is a time for you to try to achieve a better balance. Get a partner to do more for you, delegate more, or say, no, I'm not doing it. If you're too quick to please, then I think some people will take advantage of that. But if you have got a blog you want to promote, ideas you want to chat to someone professionally about, the new moon can still be very helpful to you. And from the 18th through to the 24th, there's actually a stunning link between Venus and Saturn and Pluto, and something to do with your financial position can really strengthen across those days, but particularly if you've really done the hard work in terms of the detail, the research, and also a step-by-step plan forwards. The 23rd, however, does see the sun move into the sign of Scorpio. This really is asking you to have a bit of a breather. It's the time of the year to stop, just evaluate your foundations and how stable they are, how secure, and how much you feel at ease in your environment. The 28th, however, sees Mercury, as I mentioned before, inverting into Libra, and Venus moving into one of its two home zones of Libra, which is gorgeous for you. You can find that people will be really attracted to your mode of expression in the following 28 days. As this month comes to a close, Saturn does come into a square with Mercury. That could make you feel a little tense as well, to be honest. There is the potential for a more spiritual dimension all of this month for all of us because of Jupiter's great angle to Neptune. And maybe this could see you actually helping people who are less fortunate. So it may be as a fundraising for a good cause, perhaps something that's dear to your heart. But also as the month comes to a close, I just feel that your need to communicate your ideas of a more personal nature is going to be heightened. But the full moon, the second full moon, therefore the blue moon, which occurs on the 31st, does see the moon embrace the more restless energies of Uranus. And Uranus is continuing in your sector of work, goals, ambitions, responsibilities of a more worldly kind. And it is creating a need for greater stimulation. And if you are in a role where you're really bored by it, this is pushing you to try to make some changes. But those energies in the sign of Capricorn are more resistant. The energies earlier this month in Aries and Libra are more progressive. But those resistant energies could be because you have commitments, obligations to others. You don't want to let them down. You want to be a good egg. That's really good. But this second blue moon is kind of saying to you that something may happen suddenly that forces your hand a little bit, and not changing may not be an option. One of the things you may well know or may not know is that your sign is fixed. So you're a fire sign. Of course, you're governed by the sun, which gives you a glorious warmth and charisma, but you're fixed. So changes don't necessarily come easy to you. You do like things to stay pretty even, the status quo appeals to you, and then big dramatic changes come. This is the way it is for fixed sign people. The other fixed signs, just so you know, are Taurus, are Scorpio, and also Aquarius. So the moon position being conjunct with Uranus as this month draws to a close suggests that if you are resisting a change at home or at work, it could in some way start to evolve really from the end of this month right through to the middle of November. Obviously, I'll tell you more about that next time. So this month gives you a lot of opportunity to do a lot of discussion, a lot of thinking, but I think it is flagging up your desire to be a freer spirit. If you're pinned into a role that's really not feeding you, not nurturing your desire for some drama, for some excitement, for some change, that old saying of a change being as good as a rest is one to consider, as can being spontaneous. You know, that's something that does appeal to you as well because of that fiery nature. So something really needs to excite you this month. But if things are stuck, then it may be necessary for you to take the first step to really initiate a big change that will then follow on. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Leo. Wishing you well. Stay safe, take care, and goodbye for now.